Got to give you a shout out in this monologue here, Brian.
Oh, really?
No, I think it was cool. I'll explain here in a moment. Just want to make sure we're live and got to give turn the volume. Here it is. All right, there we go.
All right. Sorry, I'm always multitasking,
No worries, brother. No worries. Brent,
but at
really
least
good
I'm
to
on
see
video
you.
today. Oops, sorry.
Really good to see you here today, brother. Haven't seen you in a few weeks. We missed your face. Here comes Linda. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and we'll start the recording here. All right. Oh, let's see. Double check, Rita. Am I coming through okay? Sound wise, video wise?
Yep, you're good.
Seemed a little laggy. You know what I should have done was rebooted my computer before we went live. But anyway, hello and welcome everyone. This is our Monday Mastermind. I appreciate each and every one of you guys being here today. If you're brand new, hey, welcome. We appreciate you being here. This is what we meet every Monday and have for at least 3 years now. I've been doing this Monday Mastermind for 3 years, every Monday. 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time without missing a beat. We haven't missed a beat, have we, Rita?
Nope,
Not,
not at
not
all.
one week. Rain, sleet, snow, shine, even holidays, right? So appreciate you guys being here. What we do here is we kind of like to get people involved, those people in the community here. And what we like to do is kind of talk about on a Monday being my favorite day of all. We like to come in here and just kind of gives us an excuse, if you will. I like to put it that way, to just kind of forget about whatever might have happened last week, other than our wins, and then talk about some interesting things that we need to focus on and potentially give us a direction to move forward within this week, right? So we meet here every week. Monday, you're more than welcome to invite people. It's free to join. And I think that a lot of people get some value out of it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have people that would keep coming back. But that's the potential here. And what I like to do is just create as much value for everybody as possible. Because one thing that I've learned in my experience is that it's really tough to try to go out there and do all this stuff alone, right? Whether it's navigating the business world or even sometimes our own personal world. And I know from experience, especially in my military past, that it's a lot easier to get things done when you're in a team environment, right? So we can all lift up each other at the same time. And that being said, me being prior military, I'm a key component in, not leaving a soldier behind. But as I mentioned before, I'm here. I've been here for 3 years. We just can't chase you down to help you out. So I'm glad that you all are here. I'm glad you're close to the fire. We're going to make it nice and warm. I want to give a shout out to Brian because Brian, you motivated me this morning and I was already motivated. But when I saw your post and how he's making a difference, like just a decision to start new, fresh with the new year, it motivated me into doing what I wanted to do for my New Year's, which was something so small and simple. I was just doing 10 push-ups a day and getting into the consistency or the good habits of what I need to do, right? And that's what I'm going to be talking about today is creating good habits. So I trust that you guys will find some value. But the way we'd like to start off the show is we like to dive deep into the audience, find out if they've had any wins. I'd love to hear about your success stories or what might have happened last week, especially if it came out of our meetings here. So does anybody have any positive wins that they want to share from last week? Go for it, Gene. Let's hear it, brother.
Well, you know mine. I got my AI avatar finally
Yes. Yes, yes,
for my
yes,
team.
man.
So we're just
Yeah.
this close to releasing it to our whole team. We got a few additional videos we want to add in to a walk-up video and the fast start videos, stuff like that, to kind of capture newbies' attentions when they get in there to help them. Uh, the idea with the teams is to help them be able to get to that first bump uh, in the company going to promoter right away, which is just enrolling two people. So we want to do before they dig into the rest of the training, do this fast start first. And let's get you to promoter, then dig into the rest. So that's the idea we have behind that. But yeah, having that AI avatar in there now I just got to load a bunch of additional information. I got to ask support for a link and upload some files and stuff like that so that it knows exactly when the meetings are, the weekly meetings and things like that, and different information, and also telling it to our own company has its own AI, so I can redirect people to that AI for product specific information,
Right.
so which I've used myself on some things. So very excited about it though. And like I said, we're just this far away from getting it released to our team. So
Oh man, I'm excited for you, brother. I remember when I got mine. I mean, even the whole experience going through that to get it and then finally getting it. I can only imagine. You're probably like I felt like a kid with a new toy on Christmas, right?
mhm. So, already
Well,
showing it off. So
congrats, brother. Congrats, man. Have
thank
some
you.
fun with it. I know Vicky, I know loves mine, so it's definitely a great resource and can come in handy. We're excited for you, brother. Let us know how it all works out. Brent, what do you got to share, brother? It's good to see your face. We missed you. Where you been hiding out?
Oh boy, I have been working pretty hard at picking up extra hours over the holidays, and so I'm just trying to get that extra money, And I this morning started reading a book called Right for Life by Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way, which is a bestseller, and she's written and published over 55 books in her lifetime. She's like 78 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And, so my big win is hopefully being able to have, if I do this book on the schedule this time, have a finished manuscript within 6 weeks of a book to promote my poet speaking career.
Right on, brother. Right on. I know that you've been leaning towards that direction. It's nice to see you actually getting closer and closer, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That's freaking awesome. So 6 weeks, you'll
That's
have
the goal.
something for us?
That's the goal.
Right on, brother. Right on. Then I'm excited to hear that. I'm really excited to hear that. Keep us in tune, man. Keep coming back. Let us know when it launches, whatnot, so that we can take a look at it. Right? We'll be your
All right.
supporters. We'll be here to help you out. Appreciate you sharing that with us. Paul, what's happening, brother?
Yeah, I just want to let you know, a journey starts with the first step. So it's the first step being here in this mastermind group. And my one of my big goals is to promote my poetry ministry. I've been writing poems for 37 years, since 88 when I was floating around in the Persian Gulf on a minesweeper for 3 years, on and off, and getting us ready for the Gulf War invasion, getting rid of the mines out there. And so yeah, I've got a digital flip book I made with 19 of my best poems, and I got it published 3 years ago, but I haven't really gotten any sales because it's just people in church or in nursing homes where I do recitals, paying for my book on the spot. I'll bring a few with me. But yeah, I want to figure out a way with the mastermind group to really promote that thing and get it out there. And getting it out there is more important to me than the money, but it would be nice to get some compensation.
Well, you're in the right place, brother. I can definitely help you with that. And us collectively as a team, I'm sure can help spread the word. I, believe it or not, used to do poetry myself back when I was a little lad. I thought I was pretty good at it, and haven't done much poetry in a while, but I would love to check it out, man. So let's definitely chat about that. Keep us up to date. Vicky's over there saying her too. Right. Appreciate you popping in,
Yeah, well,
Curtis, and
it's
hello.
a lot of it's spiritual because it's from a Jewish family, became a Christian when I was 18 years old, and I'm 62 now, so it's been a long journey. And I've had two veterans tell me that they read my poetry one night when they were going to commit suicide. They had real bad PTSD like I do, so I really feel good about like God's using me to channel a positive, uplifting, encouraging, get you into a better emotional state kind of poetry. So yeah,
I
I
love
am
that.
talking to you, brother, and anyone
I
else.
love that. We're all about that here when it comes to, the emotional state and stuff like that, especially myself being a veteran. So
I'd
yeah,
like to buy a copy.
Yeah, definitely interested in learning more about what you got going on there, Paul, as it comes to fruition. Want to welcome Linda. Hello. Appreciate you popping in. Appreciate Curtis popping in. Hello, Keisha. Rita, what you got to share for us? Got some wins from last week?
I do, I do. You know how they always say celebrate?
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
That's part of why we do this.
I put all of my celebrates into 1 week.
Mhm.
So I celebrated all of my accomplishments in 1 week. And so I'm extremely happy. Now I'm regenerated to go to the next stage. Wasn't feeling too good yesterday. Had a 24-hour, I don't know what, but I'm back on board and running again. So back in the business.
Love
So
it. Love it.
celebrate.
Love it. Good. Good. Anybody else have any good wins that they want to share? Yes? No? Okay. Keisha?
Curtis does.
Curtis does?
Curtis have a
Curtis.
win.
Curtis, talk to us, Curtis.
You have a win from last week, Curtis? Being silent.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How's it going,
I'm
brother?
just log in on my other phone. I'm at work.
Yeah,
So
no
the
worries.
volume is crazy. Yeah, cool, cool. All right, what did y'all ask me?
I said, what was your win from last week?
Got a promotion.
All right. Right on. Promotion, where you working at?
Legal field. I mean, right now I'm a convention center, but I got my promotion to legal field.
Right on. Congrats, brother.
Cool.
Congratulations. We love hearing wins like that, especially in the network marketing field, you know. That's another reason why we come together because most of us in here are doing some kind of network marketing out there. Congratulations, brother. Kudos to you and thank you for sharing. Any other wins you guys want to share? Yes? No? All right. You know how we roll. Going once, going twice. Sold to the lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's an 9, she's a 10, I know. All right. So here's what we are all gathered here today to speak about. This is week one of our Monday Masterminds. We're going to call today Creating Good Habits. Why? Well, I think that it was so appropriate starting off with the new year, and this being the beginning of a new year, we should kind of focus on creating good habits. What do you guys think? Yeah, you guys down with that? So, what's going to happen is I'm going to give you guys 3 definitions that I want you to pay attention to. We're going to talk about 4 things, and then I've got some questions to throw out to the audience here, and then we're going to kind of open it up and have a little discussion about it. Okay. Now, I just want to preface that I am not perfect by any means, shape, or form. I'm not sitting up here trying to sit on my soapbox and saying anything about myself at all. I'm very fallible. The difference, though, that I can say is that I do have a little bit of a military mindset. So I'm one of those people that either do it or I don't, right? And when it comes to creating good habits, obviously doing something that's going to be in your benefit is obviously going to be a good habit versus doing something that's not. I learned many years ago too, there's a difference between what we call being proactive and reactive, right? Those are 2 very important words that most of us should have heard throughout our lifetime. Being proactive is obviously going to be way better than being reactive. And that's just, again, something that was instilled in me in the military. But when it comes to defining like good habits and things that we should be aware of, there's 3 definitions that I want to throw out at you. Number one is habits itself. Okay. So what is a habit, right? A habit is just simply an automatic response to specific situations that are developed through repetition and consistency, which also ties into those 2 words that I just mentioned, right? So they tie in together. But you really can think about those habits as like an autopilot, if you will, for whatever your daily actions are. It's the reason that we even wake up and do specific things. I've mentioned this before in some of our past episodes, and not to the liking of, but similar to what I call the robot mentality, right? When it's a person that wakes up at that specific time, we go fight traffic to go into the job. And, again, we're not here to bash any kind of work or job. That's how most of us start, right? We understand that we have to have some kind of income to pay our bills and survive, right? There's a difference in the sales world, though, that I've learned many years ago. And that difference is when you understand what your worth is. When you understand what your worth is, it's very difficult, at least it was for me, to do any kind of 9 to 5 job. Because as I've mentioned before, whenever I go into a job and I agree to whatever that job is, they're going to say, okay, well, we're willing to pay you, let's say 20 or 30 bucks an hour, whatever that is. The moment that I say, yes, I agree to that, I'm putting my worth on myself at only whatever that amount is that that specific company deems necessary or equivalent to be able to pay me for my time. Make sense? Right? But if I know that I have a skill set, one of those being basic communication, the other being the art of sales, if you will, then I can go out there and I can make way more than $30 per hour. I just have to think about how I want to approach it, create some kind of game plan, and make it happen. See, here's the thing, and I've said this for many years. I've always been that type of person, and we've done this for many years. We've shown people how to do it. Is if you can take something that you're passionate about and turn that into a recurring income, then that's always going to be your best bet, right? Unlike going to a job that maybe you don't like, right? But again, we have to have that in our lives. I've said this recently, and I'm going to repeat it because I also honestly believe that we as entrepreneurs do have to go through that shiny object syndrome thing that you all hear about. I really, at this point in time, feel that it's necessary as well. Because then we figure out what it is that we really like, what we're passionate about, or what we can get behind. If we're in a network marketing business and we're not passionate about that, it doesn't make us jump out of bed in the morning to help solve other people's problems, probably not in the right business, right? Because having that passion towards what it is that you're doing will also increase those good habits, that habit of waking up in the morning and doing something specific. Maybe it's for your health or your wealth, right? We've mentioned last year and had some really great ideas that were passed through the audience about how we could start our day in the morning by being grateful. We could do meditation, we could do exercise, and then also again at the end of the night doing those things, being grateful for those things as well, right? Because the thing is that the more grateful that we are for what we have, I know you all have heard this before, the more that we can receive. So habits is one thing that we want to think about. The second thing that I want to talk about is goal setting. And I've mentioned this before, and I've seen it over my 30 plus years of people setting goals, but not attaining them because they don't know how to goal, right? That's really what it comes down to. As an example, somebody might come into a network marketing business, look at a compensation plan and say, okay, well, I need 2 people to qualify, and then go out and say, I'm going to go out and get 10 people, right? Well, how are you going to get 10 people if you've never even gotten that one person, right? So it always starts at one, and then we go from there. But it's a common problem. I've seen it, out of all the years of my coaching, I've seen it time and time again. So we have to make sure that whatever goals that we are setting, that they're realistic and they're attainable. Another example that I've mentioned before last year is just weight loss in general, right? Right. Brian is doing something different this year to make sure that he pays attention to his health. I've been on a health journey since 2010. I mentioned that at one point in time, I was at 210 pounds. I just wasn't paying attention to what I was putting in my mouth, wasn't exercising, wasn't doing anything like that. As a disabled veteran, it's difficult for me to do certain exercises, right? My lower back, my neck. But at the same time, I can't sit there and make excuses. So instead of me going and saying, oh, well, I want to get down to 180 pounds, which is 40 pounds, and then say, I'm going to have this weight loss goal of 40 pounds, I know that I would never attain that weight loss goal by doing it that way. Instead, I would say, let me do something different that's not actually directly like connected to this larger goal, but something that's smaller and more attainable, which is again just simply doing something like 10 push-ups per day. So that's what I started doing, and I started getting onto this routine. And I'll tell you a funny story because when I started this a couple of years ago, my goal was to do 100 push-ups for 100 days. Round about the 65th day, my shoulder blew out. Like not blew out, I didn't hurt, but it hurt. So I obviously fell off the wagon for lack of better terms. And it took me a long time before I could even try to do that again. Now I'm just like, okay, well, baby steps. Sometimes you have to go back and reset. Right. So right now, that's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to press myself or anything. Heck, I was 19 years old and had an inguinal hernia because of pushing too much. Right. So the point of my story is that I'm not telling you that you have to push yourself too much or hurt yourself, but do smaller things that are going to attribute to the larger goal, especially when it comes to goal setting. This is the big key reason why many people don't hit their goals, especially when it comes to even something measurable as the money that you're making online with your business, right? But the actual definition when we talk about goal setting, it's just the process of identifying something that you want to achieve and then establishing measurable objectives as well as timeframes to help you get there. Exactly what I just mentioned, right? The third thing that we want to think about, and this is one that I love, 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 and I got from my buddy Anil Gupta and his book here called Immediate Happiness, right? And it's self-awareness. Write that down. Self-awareness. When we look at self-awareness, it's really about understanding your own needs, not mine. I'm not here to talk to you about my needs. That's not what we're here for, right? This is what we want to give you this value so that you can think about these things. Understand your needs. What are your desires? What are your shortcomings even, right? What are your habits? Are they good, bad, or indifferent? Right? And everything else in between. What makes you tick? Like when I think about it, and I've talked about this many times, I look at it as like being the main character of your own story. I see many years ago, I wanted to be an actor. And thankfully I was blessed to be on the set of a movie. It was a 12 episode miniseries called From the Earth to the Moon. And it was a lot of fun. And I would have loved to, come to you now and you'd be like, hey, I know that guy. He's this famous actor. But I attribute it to that time when I was in a movie and then when I did my door to door. And sometimes you guys have heard me talk about this when I would train my students. It's a part that you're going to play when it comes to being in sales. Okay. What do you mean by that, Robert? Well, what I mean by that is for me going door to door for 20 years, am I playing the role of that door to door salesperson? Am I doing a good job? Because as I mentioned, you never get that second chance to make a first impression. So your first impression has to be spot on, especially when it comes to your presentation. And if we're business owners and we don't have a presentation, we don't know how to present ourselves, then obviously we're not going to find any clients to join our business. That's where most people start in the network marketing profession. And we start out of desperation because we need to make a change in our life, right? It's like sick and tired of being sick and tired. But most of us, when we start, we don't know the first thing about building a business, building a team, how to coach or train. We don't know these things, right? Which is why we do these kind of things. We jump into Zooms collectively together. We learn from each other. Following somebody that's already been there must please make sure that we follow someone that's already been there. And I jokingly say that because of the post that I put out this morning about the blind leading the blind. There's a lot of people out there that aren't making a dime online that are there telling you that they're going to make you wealthy by coming and joining them. There's a lot of that nonsense that's out there. I'm here to tell you, people like myself, people that are professionals that have been in the industry for a long time, can see right through that. Right? So going back to what I was talking about with acting the part, right, or playing the role, we had to pretend like everybody's watching us, and we had to act accordingly. That includes the messages that we're conveying out there to the public, especially when it comes to making money online. All right. Anyway, I won't beat that dead horse too much. But if you've been in the industry for any amount of time, you know what I'm saying is true. You know it is, right? So self-awareness is back where we were. Again, this is something that for me, the beginning of self-awareness actually came, I want to say probably back in 2001 when I was introduced to the movie The Secret. And then again, about 4 years ago when I was introduced to this book. And I had always had awareness because of the fact of being military. We were taught to be aware and pay attention to everything around us. In fact, I'm that guy that when I go to a restaurant or go to a store or something, especially a restaurant, I'm the guy that wants to sit in the back corner where I can see the doors, you know that guy? That's me. Because I'm that guy that I can already envision somebody coming in, some crazy wackadoo with a weapon, and in my mind, I'm that one that's going to probably be there to tackle him down, strip his weapon, and who knows, imagine put your own movie in there where you will, right? But there's a self-awareness that we have to have in order to make whatever corrections that we have that are not good. And I'm only saying this because again, it's important that we understand that in the network marketing industry, it's not about pitching and selling. It's nothing about that. It's literally comes down to personal development. What kind of person are you? What are the talking points that people can be attracted to you for? Why are they going to follow you? What value do you bring to their life? That's a big one. See, because one of my mentors told me years ago, he said, you know what, Robert, I don't give a shit what people are making online. What are their teams making? So if you're in the network marketing profession, we should think about that. What is your team making? If your team is not making anything, then you can't really go out there and bark too loud, right? Especially about yourself. I would not be that person that's saying, oh, I'm making all this money, blah, 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 right? Nobody cares. But if you can show your team how to make money and you can express that, now you got a winner, right? But getting back to what we're talking about, right? So we got habits, we got goal setting, then we got self-awareness. So the talking points that I want to talk about is the power of routine. What are the routines that we're doing on the daily? I mentioned this morning to Brian that he motivated me seeing his post. And remember me talking about those 10 push-ups? I had not done them this morning yet because I don't have it into my routine of having a good habit. And I kept telling myself and reminding myself all this morning, got to do your 10 push-ups, got to do your 10 push-ups, got to do your 10 push-ups. This is how my mind attacks itself purposefully so that I don't forget something. And then when I saw Brian's post, I was like, oh, I got to do it. I got to do it. And then I said again, I got to do it before I go live. So before I went live here for you guys today, I knocked out my 10 push-ups so that I could create a good habit. So I could put that into a routine, right? So back to the whole robot mentality. What if that robot mentality actually has a good routine to it? What if we wake up and part of that routine is to be grateful for even waking up, right? Because I can tell you that's made a huge difference in my life. The other thing to think about is what is our surroundings, right? Some of us in here are probably single. Some of us may not be married either. And I'm only speaking from the heart. When you have somebody that you truly love, it's an amazing thing to be able to wake up to them in the morning and say good morning. That's part of my routine with my wife whenever she wakes up. Good morning. It's a kiss, a hug, and a embrace. We made it to the next day. That's part of our routine. That's part of going in and creating good habits that are going to make sure that my mindset is never below where it needs to be so that I can always be in full focus, self-awareness, and ready to attack and conquer my day. Right? Second thing is that this is intensively, it's really supposed to align with whatever your core values are too. Right? As our buddy Brent shared this morning, good, better, best, never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. Right? That is a core value of mine that I got from my drill sergeant Womble when I was in the military. He told me that, and I was like, "Oh, yes, I love it!" Like I would hear that, and it would just motivate the crap out of us just to hear "good, better, best, never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best." And even when I was taught that, I teach that to other people, and I ask, well, "What is your perception of that?" To me, my perception is there's always room for improvement. Good, better, best, never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. But even when you're at your peak and you think that you're the best, there's always somebody out there that can be just a little bit better than you, right? There's always somebody out there that you can learn from. I have this other core belief that I truly believe that each and every one of us can learn something from each other. We all have different life experiences, right? There's many things that all of you in this room could tell me that I would have an idea of what you're talking about because I like to consider myself very resourceful and, uh, knowledgeable about all things across the globe. But I'm sure I can learn something. But it aligns with my core values. And what are those core values that you're sharing out there with other people? Right? If you share the right ones, you can attract those other people with those same core values, just like all of you that are in here today. Guess what? We have some core values. That's why you're here. Isn't that neat? I think it's cool. So, number three, the role of environment. Tapping into here right now in the fire, staying close to the fire, as I like to call it. This is the environment. If you can create a good, positive environment for other people, then good experiences can happen. Right? Invite your people to those positive environments, right? So for me, any network marketing company that I've ever been in, I'm always going to go to the trainings first before I invite anybody, right? Anybody with me? We want to see what's going on there. We're not just going to willy-nilly invite anybody, right? Want to make sure to protect my assets and all that other stuff is how we think in the business mind. But so I'll always go and look at the environment. And if the environment is good, then I'll invite other people to that environment, especially if I believe that I'm getting some type of value from it. Number four is accountability and support. The cool thing that's been transpiring with these Monday meetings, and Rita, correct me if I'm wrong, I typically am not, we start thinking about the other person. And it's like, oh, well, where's so and so? And oh, how about Keisha and Michelle? And now we get to add Terry to the mix and Jackie to the mix. Right? Who do we forget? Let's get everybody in here. It's all part of that accountability and support. Right? Because look, again, you can't do it on your own. If you think you can, bless you, but you can't. You cannot do this on your own. Don't cry, Gene. It's okay. We love you. But it's for accountability and support. And if you can find good places like that, like even Gene and some of you guys that start your morning with Zooms, like that's what it's all about. So that's the value, the stuff that I want to talk to you guys about, things that we need to think about, things that I trust that you took some notes, right? Three things: habits, goal setting, self awareness. But let's think about what is our routine and what is the power of that routine? What are the things that we need to change to make that routine better so that we perform better? Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. What are the core values? How do they align with the people that we're talking to? What kind of environment are we creating to attract our tribe? And on top of that, what kind of accountability and support are we lending? Y'all, I hope you're picking up these gold nuggets. This is how you build your business. Everybody with me? Okay. So here's some questions for you guys. To the field. Gonna throw it out like a fastball. What habit has made the biggest positive impact on your life and why? Please feel free to share. Paul, you got something you want to share on that one?
I just want to thank you, bro. There's so many nuggets being thrown out there. I'm gonna have to start having some dipping sauces standing by here.
I love it. Bring the dipping sauce. That makes me think of some good, clever advertising. Bring the dipping sauce. Gene, go ahead, brother. What habit has made the biggest positive impact in your life and why?
Well, lately it's been posting my motivational posts on my different social medias and with my team because I made it a habit every morning after breakfast, after I get my mom settled after breakfast and everything, I go and post this. It motivates me, but also motivates others. And that's just, I'm not good with habits, except the bad ones.
I
So
understand.
I forced myself to do this good habit. And I hadn't even pictured it as a habit until you were talking today. It's like, wait, that's a habit I have, you know?
Nice.
So, but it's been a big impact for me because it helps get me motivated for the rest of my day as well, because that my day doesn't start until noonish because I take care of my mom. So, my day starts with these Zooms or other Zooms that may be occurring, stuff like that. And then after that is when I got to start working. But the motivational posts that I share that sometimes I might be borrowing from you all, is what I post daily, and it's also it made me use Now Site a lot more. Also, so I
Cool.
just feed in an image or feed in a quote, tell it what I wanted, and poof, there it was. So
Hey,
that habit also forced me to use that a lot more. So,
you know what I love about all that, Gene? And don't you love those light bulb moments?
oh yeah. So,
Thank you for sharing, brother. Brent, go ahead. What habit has made you the biggest impact on your life and why?
Hold on, I'm in a cafe, so it's a little hard to hear. But I had a couple of thoughts.
Sure.
Um,
Share 'em, please.
this is something I heard once. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Right.
I had a therapist once 20 years ago who told me become an appreciator in life.
Amen.
So those are two thoughts that I had in relation to what you said. So
Amen. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. It really is in how we start our day. When we turn on our mind, what is it tuned to? What's the first thing that it tunes to? Vicky, go ahead.
I'd say one of the best habits that I've had pretty much my whole adult life, and I can attribute a lot of that to my mother, is that I have always been good at setting goals, about listing goals. I mean, when I was very young, when I was like just fresh out of high school, on New Year's, I would send my mom a list of my goals, like an accountability and a letter. I'd write her a letter and I'd send it to her. And then it was always interesting when we reviewed that letter at the end of the year and seeing how far that I actually got. And that's how I believe how I achieved so much at such an early age so quickly because I made sure that I did keep my goals in check and stayed behind them the whole time. So I have to say goal setting.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Thank you, Vicky, for sharing. Rita, what you got, girl?
Hey, um, to a couple of points you made, the Michelle's planner has definitely, and I keep saying it in hopes that other people will take advantage in using it, but I would not have met Michelle had I not been in this group, which is the power of going along the road together because collectively, you don't know what you're going to find. But that planner kept me on track or keeps me on track because I'm a statistics person. So you end up with show me your calendar. And one of my teachers used to tell me this all the time. You're in network marketing. Show me what your calendar looks like, and I'll tell you what your business looks like. So
Mm.
that is a perfect example with the social media planning and just setting that calendar up. So all of that is attributed to you among many other things, but I'm going to be quiet there and pass it over back to you.
Thank you. I didn't know you were going to give me a plug. Checks in the mail. You know I love you. Thank you for that. Keisha, go ahead.
For me, it was learning to listen more because
Big one.
the Keisha you guys know now is not the Keisha that most people had to deal with. I had a
Get
rotten
out.
temper. I had a rotten temper. I would start a
No.
fight in a heartbeat.
Uh-uh. Rita, I
And
don't believe her.
it was my way or the highway. And I realized that when I learned to control me and not try to control others' behavior and actually listen to what the problem is, 90% of the time we were on common ground, just looking at it from a different angle.
Big time.
And once I realized that, it's like everything just got so much easier. Every day wasn't a fight. And
Yeah.
now I strive for my peace on a regular basis. It's like, yeah, you can't, I can't let you come in and harass me on that. What is it you actually need? And it works even when I work in security. Because when somebody comes in, they start yelling at you. I get softer and softer and I give them that listening ear, and all of a sudden they go from here to here.
Yeah.
And now we can have a conversation. I could still kick them out, and they're thanking me for letting them go.
Right. And they didn't even know.
Mhm. I
I
have
love
thrown more people out of the
funny.
club with a hug than a fist.
I love that too. And it's funny because the memory that you triggered was, going back to communication of things that I'd like to talk about here. I remember back in the day when my ex-wife and I used to get into an argument. And understand me and let me know if you can relate to this or not. With my mind, the way that it runs, okay, first off, I jokingly say last time I did an IQ test, I was 1 point away from genius. So I'm privy to making mistakes. But so I was into breaking things down. If you learn a little bit more about me, I've mentioned this many times. I was that guy the kid that used to take things apart to see how they would work, right? And whenever I would get into this argument, I would be like, at the end, be like, okay, hold on, hold on. So we're having this argument because I said this, you said that, and then you said that because I said this. And really what it came down to was a complete misunderstanding. Anybody understand? Can you verify with what I'm talking about? It was always just some kind of stupid misunderstanding. Why? Because the lack of communication. Agree? Everybody with me? That's what I found. That's what I taught myself years ago, right? So, yeah, having the ability to actually listen intently and then know the right things to say with your form of communication, that's a way better bet than sitting there trying to get into argumentative conversations with people. Like I like to say, choose your battles, right? So very, very true. Thank you for sharing that. Here's another question for you guys. Can anyone in here share a time when changing your environment helped you form a better habit? Because this is a big one here that I've seen plenty of times, especially in the network marketing world. I've experienced it myself. Maybe many of you guys have. And I really, really wish I could find that old picture that I had. I still remember it in my head. I'm on this hard drive, but I lost it on my other hard drive because I didn't have got backup back then. I remember a picture of myself sitting in a corner, and there was a wooden desk with one of those old school monitors on it. I had my keyboard in my lap, and I was on one of those foldable couch or foldable chairs. That was my office when I first started. I was like, I'm gonna make this work. I was like pitching up a tent saying, I'm gonna make this work. Now, fast forward some 20 plus years, got a beautiful, cool office, got my lights set up, my, massage chair and everything that I want and need, TV on the wall, all that fun stuff, right? But the environment is huge. Even going back to me talking about my ex-wife, and there were several loves that would, if you want to call them that, or past loves, that I lost because of my desire to make something like this work. And that negativity and fighting past that negativity that I know every single one of you guys have been through. Why don't you get a real job? Oh, that's not gonna work. Isn't that a scam? Right? Oh, that's one of those pyramid things, right? All those things that you guys hear, man, I've heard those for ages. Even from my own father-in-law. That's never gonna work. You're never gonna make money online. Right. So we have to battle past that. And a lot of that is the environment. So Keisha, please share. Share a time when changing your environment helped you form a better habit.
When I first started building my business, I asked all of my friends and family to leave me alone for a year
Love it.
because
Don't talk to
my
me for
friends,
one year.
my friends are always good intended, with always have good intentions, but they're not. They can tend to be very negative. And my mother is the epitome of walking negativity. Unfortunately, she's also a therapist, and she's her own therapist. So good luck with that.
I know all about what you're talking about.
So in that year, I literally went from making 30,000 to making 108,000 with just some very simple shifts. It's just crazy. Um, and even now, it has never taken me so long to reset because I've reset before. At 40, I retired. At 45, the hurricanes hit and I lost everything. I was back on my feet and thriving in less than a year, in just over a year. And I spent most of that year traveling to the Virgin Islands to help rebuild. You know what I'm saying? So I really only did it in months. This time, it's taken me so much longer, but I'm in that
Oh,
very negative source. So it's a constant battle of creating boundaries. I get to where I don't leave this room a lot of the times because this is the only safe zone I have to be able to do any building.
right. Close the door,
So
lock the door, go away, leave me alone.
yes, 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 yes.
Well, it's
So
it's true. Go
it's
ahead.
definitely environment matters
Yeah.
because, like I said, just being left alone would made a huge difference.
100%, my friend. Totally appreciate you sharing that. Vicky, what you got? Uh-oh. Check your mic. You're muted. You're muted, dear.
Okay, sorry.
You're
One
good.
little step. Um, Definitely environment has a lot to do with it. There was so much toxicity for so long, and nobody ever could really just communicate or just like sit down and respectfully talk to each other and stuff. And that's not my cup of tea at all. And I have to say, like the biggest improvements I've made recently it had to start in May and June when I started these classes because I strived harder to surround myself with like-minded people, with people that want to reach success, with people that know how to talk to each other with success, that don't criticize each other, but do give constructive advice. And that's so much easier for me to deal with than all the toxic stuff. So I'm perfectly content in this little world.
Well, we love you
So
being part of this little world, my friend. I appreciate
mhm.
you. You know I do. And we've seen the growth. That's the other cool thing about coming here. You know, Rita might want to speak on this too, or Michelle or anybody else. We've seen that growth from not only Vicky, but other people that have, come and been close to the fire. So we love and appreciate you, Vicky. You know we do. Happy to see all your recent successes. And we just got to keep on climbing one day at a time. Keep getting it, keep getting it. Obviously, those of you that have been around me for a while know that I'm that guy. I'm your motivated person all the time, from the time I wake up in the morning to the time I go to bed, unless somebody tries to get in my way. And then I quash that and go back to that positive side of life. I stay up here in my vibration. Anyway, thank you for sharing, Vicky. Paul, what you got, brother?
What I've got is this, groups like this, which I haven't been in before, are amazing because you're now surrounding yourself with an environment of people who are committed to the kind of change they need to be successful. It's not being in some rah-rah group that, is
Thank
just
you.
all about, hooking up an IV that feeds you the Kool-Aid that they want you to drink. And
I'm glad you said that.
so I really appreciate this group. I'm really looking forward to growing in it because one of my big challenges is going to be I've got a stage 4 health issue. I'm at the VA hospital a lot, and so I don't have the flexibility or I can't schedule one-on-one, so I have to do it on the fly. Like I have a Zoom link and I can just send it and we click and we get on there, but I'm going to have to learn how do I attract people that are going to be okay with that, because a lot of people are rigid and have to have planning ahead for a meeting, and I'm just not able to do that. So that's a huge challenge for me with my health issues.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to figuring this all out.
Sure, brother. Yeah, I can definitely help you out, man. Let's talk on the side, or, let's schedule some time to chat or whatever. It's really, I'll tell you this based off of what you're telling me, and so that everybody understands, and I've said this before too, your client or your customer or your prospect is only going to know what you tell them, right? So if you tell them this is how we meet, then that's how you meet. Obviously, be observant of their time, and there's certain ways that I like to clear people's schedule, so to speak, to make sure that I don't get that uh, ever elusive objection of I don't have time. No, we don't deal with I don't have time. We get all the way around that by asking the right question in the right way. But yeah, we'll definitely help you out, brother. I'm
By
glad
the
that you.
way, when someone's eating food on this call, are they obligated to share it with everyone?
I know, man. I got my food over here waiting. Did you
I
bring
was
enough
on,
for the
seeing
Curtis.
whole
Curtis.
class?
Curtis was getting into some deep looking good stuff there.
Yeah, man, he's working hard over there. He's got to eat. He's probably got on a break there, man. He's got to shove it down like I remember the military. Eat it now, taste it later.
Can you spell MREs?
Appreciate you, brother. TW, what you got, brother?
You're talking about environment and how that's changed. I
Yes.
moved from Hawaii to Washington State, and the biggest change for me is dealing with the winter time. And so being indoors a lot, it's helped me focus on my business and what I do on a daily basis. So it, the change in environment has quantum leaped my business and my thought process.
How do you, I know I'm being facetious when I ask this question. How do you live with yourself leaving Hawaii? Isn't it just beautiful there?
It, it's perpetual summer, just to kind of give you an idea. But
Yeah.
I
You
was
guys have monsoon seasons, right? Or what?
yeah we our winter weather is rain. Um, and I used to jokingly tell people, it got so cold that I had to sleep with a blanket. So, you know, it's you just learn to live in the environment that you are and try to make the best of what you have at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's what humans actually do all the time, right? Creative to be adaptive and all that fun stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you being here today, brother.
Thanks,
Rita, what you
brother.
got?
I would wanted to comment about what you had said regarding seeing growth in this group.
Yes.
And I did mention Michelle. Oh, she's on camera. Hey, Michelle. And just the relationship with her. And I will tell you, it's a push and pull. Michelle does presentations for improving and branding, among other things. And, like, I'm coming. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'll be there. And then I don't show up. Not because I forgot. And it was on my calendar and I saw it. And okay, so many things going on in my head. But she hung in there and she kept inviting and kept inviting. And I eventually showed up and I got 2 out of the 3 days under my belt. But she, of course, had recordings you could always go look at. But it's the fact that she didn't quit on her. She didn't quit on what she was doing. And then out of that came the planner. And you heard the story on that before. And then we have Karen, who has some really, really cool, um, how do you say it? Just sayings and things that, that is so cool. Good stuff, like motivational stuff, like calming stuff. And seeing her break out of her shell. Catherine, who was trying to get branded, and she finally got something that she really, really liked. And last but not least, Carrie, who is she's a female mechanic in Pennsylvania. And just to see, she just blossomed like all of it. And I believe, besides other things that we don't know about, but a lot has to do with this group and being able to witness and see that. And I think it was to Rick Paul's point that if you stay close to the fire and you do the work, nobody's pushing you gently, um, gentle tug, but when you see things like that going on and you see other people experiencing success, it helps to motivate you to have success as well, whatever that looks like to you. It's not all monetary. Sometimes Blakester with his goosies. And so everybody's are different, but I had to speak to that. Oh my God, I didn't mean to leave out Vicky. Vicky has gone through a whole bunch of stuff. And so, from working on her cell phone, but she didn't quit. She kept on going, kept on going. And then she got her computer straightened out and, she dealt with internet issues. She kept pushing through all the difficulties, screaming, kicking, and hollering, but she got it done. And definitely, that's like 5 people in less than a year that have pushed through. And I would say to your leadership, your guidance, your patience, and anything else I didn't mention. So kudos to you and kudos to those who believed in themselves, stuck with it, and kept going.
Amen. Amen. I appreciate that comment. Love it. What comes to my mind from you saying that is you can't get over a 10-foot fence by yourself. Well, let's make it a 20-foot fence by yourself, but you can do it with a team, right? So appreciate every one of you guys being the collective team that you are, the people that you are. We all come from different walks of life. I'm glad that we can come together. And I trust that you guys got some value out of today's message and information. We will be back again next Monday. Again, feel free to invite somebody that you might think that might get some value out of this. If you're watching live and you want to join us next Monday, you can go to the losttransition.com/live. That'll bring you right into this room. 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every single Monday without fail. So if we don't have a Monday, there's something wrong because it's one of my favorite days. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Did you guys get some value out of here today? Appreciate you guys hanging out. Let's go out there and let's kick some ass, take some names. Have yourself a fantastic week.